Welcome to the Game Changers Radio Show, where CEOs, business owners, professionals, and entrepreneurs gather to discover game-changing ideas from world-famous entrepreneurs, business celebrities, and the Game Changers team of experts. You'll hear inspiring stories, game-changing ideas, and their one big thing that launched them towards success. Get ready for the Game Changers, brought to you by T-Mobile. Your hosts for the show are Mark Imperial, a highly sought-after marketing strategist and experiential implementer who helps famous brands like Nintendo and Under Armour connect to the hearts of their consumer. He's a genius at creating floods of customers for businesses of any size. Also hosting is Bob Rigneris, a renowned business author, speaker, coach, and master of helping clients sell big-ticket products and services on the internet. He's helped generate millions in sales for hundreds of companies, including Dartmouth University and Miracle Air.
There's nothing wrong with the capitalism. There's nothing wrong with the free enterprise.
Now, it's time to get your game on. Here's Mark and Bob.
Hey, Game Changers, it's Mark Imperial.
Hey, it's Bob Rigneris. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing great. Folks, this is your Power Idea Hour. We bring you successful business owners and share their success stories because they leave clues.
They do, if you pay attention.
That's right.
But we make it really easy for people to learn on this show.
You know, we put their feet to the fire, grill them for those success secrets. And you know what? Today's no different. I've got a great guest right in the studio here for our first segment because, you know, not everybody has their own ideas about what they want to get into for business. Some folks are in the corporate world,
right,
looking for an opportunity. So my first guest today, Bob, is Pete Gilfillan from Winning Franchise Solutions. Now, Pete helps people achieve their dreams of business ownership. With over 20 years of experience as a corporate executive across multiple industries, combined with a history of small business ownership,
nice.
Pete offers a wide breadth of experience to his candidates. In 2012, he launched Winning Franchise Solutions. You could find them at buyfranchisebusiness.com, B-U-Y-F-R, franchisebusiness.com.
There you
can
go.
Spell that, okay?
That's enough.
Buyfranchisebusiness.com, a franchise consultancy that connects successful business people with winning franchise opportunities. Pete, welcome to Game Changers.
Thanks. Great being here.
Now, I read your history. You've got some great experience in corporate world as an executive for Ford Motor Company and Terex. Now, why did you leave all of that behind to become an entrepreneur?
You know, I had a great career at Ford Motor Company. It's a fabulous company. They gave me awesome opportunities. And what I found is that you pay for those opportunities. And so I found myself working very long days, you know, the 18-hour days and traveling. And you relocate when they want you to relocate. And so I decided that I wanted to take control of my own destiny, both financially and my time. And so I decided to become an entrepreneur and have fun.
And you decided to sort of, on another layer, help other people get into business. So how did you get involved in helping people investigate and invest in franchise businesses?
Yeah, so I started my journey. I left the corporate world and I said, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to own a portfolio of businesses. So I bought my first franchise about 2 years ago. And it was a lesson learned.
Yeah.
So I didn't have somebody that was really helping me through the process. And so I didn't pick the best franchise for me. It ultimately turned out to be a good opportunity. I ended up selling it, did fine on it. But I realized as I was helping people find businesses, I was a master franchise. So I helped people, you know, look at the particular franchise concept. And I realized that I really liked helping people do that. So I got affiliated with a company called FranChoice a year and a half ago. And that really got me started on the path of helping people.
Now, I understand that your family owns some businesses, too. Tell me about that.
You know, so I was raised in an entrepreneur family. Both my grandfather and father were car dealers. And so I learned very early. I started working in the dealerships. And at the age of 16, I was repossessing cars for pro athletes. So my dad used to give cars to coaches and players, and when they didn't return them, my dad would drop me off with a spare set of keys and make me repossess the car.
That's a great job.
Kind of scary.
Some probably cool some pretty cool cars, I imagine.
Yeah, it was adventurous at best.
So you're entrepreneurial by upbringing.
Yes.
So when I think of franchises, and what most people think of are big names like Subway and McDonald's comes to mind. Now, are there other types of franchises available?
Yeah, and everybody thinks of Subway first, but there are franchises in almost every industry now. And what you're seeing is kind of the mom and pop businesses are now going to franchises. So whether it's locksmiths to martial arts, to even yogurt or anything like that, you're seeing franchises in almost every industry. And so there's kind of a business opportunity as it pertains to a franchise for almost everybody today.
Now, is there a difference? Like, say, for example, when you think of Subway and McDonald's, you're buying into also a known brand. What about some of these other lesser known or unknown names? You're buying a system instead of like a brand?
Well, I think you're really buying both, because when you invest in a franchise, what we're looking to do is put you in a very solid or a proven franchise. We'll call it winning franchise concept. And so it's proven out. We know that they've got a good, solid leadership team. They've got strong financials to build out the network, and they've got happy franchisees. So you might be early in the curve in terms of there may be new franchisees, or they may be established and been around for 20 years. In all cases, our job is to really connect you with a proven one where you have a higher probability, and as the brand grows, you grow too.
Now, do a lot of the folks that come to you for help, are they coming from the corporate world, or who makes up your client base?
Well, I get both. I really get entrepreneurs that want to diversify their portfolio of businesses. So they have an existing business, they want to take their capital and leverage it, but they want to diversify. To executives that get burned out, they get laid off, or whatever it may be, they come to me and say, look, I want to look at an alternative to going back into the corporate world. Help me look at business opportunities.
Now, could you give me an example of like a business owner that you helped like diversify their portfolio of businesses through franchising?
Yeah. So, for example, last year I helped a gentleman. He owned a very successful business, a mortgage business. And he came to me and said, Pete, I'm in a very cyclical business. And what I want to do is I want to diversify, because as it goes down, I want to have something else that I can lean on. So he set me out and he said, now, Pete, I want a business where I can leverage my available capital. I want to get the highest possible return. I want my cash-on-cash payback as fast as possible. And I want it to be semi-absentee, meaning I only can put 10 to 15 hours a week into it. So we went out and searched, and we found a franchise opportunity where he'll open up multiple units in the western suburbs here in the next couple of years.
Now, on the other side of the coin, could you share an example of how you helped somebody like recently laid off from their job, like invest in a franchise business as an alternative to getting another job?
Yeah, so I worked with an executive. He ran a large IT department, and it was finally his turn. He got laid off, and he said, Pete, I'm looking at other jobs. I just don't know if I want to go back into the corporate world, or can I look at businesses? And so he did a kind of a dual path. He looked for jobs. He looked at franchise opportunities. We found a great franchise opportunity for him, and he's now up and running.
So how do you help people, Pete? I mean, does somebody do they find you after they've made a mistake, or is that something where you kind of capture them as they're looking for a franchise?
Yeah, I really want to catch them when they're in the process of they're at a fork in the road. They're ready for change, whether it's diversifying their business or looking for a new professional development in terms of their career. And so my job is really to get to know them. And that's the fun part, is I get to know people, learn about what they're looking for, the characteristics in their business, and what they want to accomplish with that business. And so if I catch them early enough, I can save them a lot of time, because learning about what they want and what they want to accomplish, I actually develop a model for them that recaps exactly what they're looking for, and then I help research the franchise opportunities. So I can save them time and point them in the right direction.
Now, is there a fee to work with you, or how does that work?
No, the best part about this is I work on their behalf, and so I help them figure out what they want to accomplish, to researching the franchises, to being a consultant as they investigate these franchise concepts. The best part about this is that they don't ever sign a contract. They never have to pay me anything. The way in which I get compensated is the franchisor will pay a referral fee if they do invest in the franchise. So they get all that kind of all that support, and it doesn't cost them anything other than a little bit of time. Maybe putting up a few of my bad jokes.
Well, that's really, what a valuable resource. Because the number of franchises available is just staggering these days. Like you said, there's franchises everywhere. And how do you know if a particular franchise is right for you? Maybe you like frozen yogurt, but maybe you wouldn't like running a frozen yogurt place, right?
Yeah, so how do you find the right fit for a candidate? What do you look for?
Yeah, and again, there's 2,500 franchises out there, and what I would tell people is the last thing you probably should do is go to the internet and click on 20 different concepts, because you'll get calls from everyone, and you'll want to shut off your phone and disconnect your email. What I do is really, again, what I believe sets me apart from others is that I'm learning about them, what characteristics. I don't like managing people. I like managing people. I don't really like sales to, Bottom line is that I need to make this type of income to support my family. Whatever it may be, that's my job to learn that. And then taking those characteristics and what they want to accomplish, then I go and I look at very carefully screened or proven franchise concepts to match them up.
You probably can't do this in 30 seconds, but what is the deal between like buying a single unit versus multiple units? What's the advice?
Yeah, what I would tell you is that I'm seeing a lot now of the multi-unit play. I call it kind of the executive model where somebody is wanting to build a very large business in terms of revenue and cash flow. And you can scale franchises two different ways. You can buy a very large service franchise and add trucks. But what I see a lot of people doing is adding and buying multiple franchises in terms of a concept.
Pete, how do folks get a hold of you to learn more about this?
Best place to go is my website, buyfranchisebusiness.com.
Buyfranchisebusiness.com. Pete, thanks for sharing with us today on the Game Changers.
Thanks.
Hey, and join us on the website. More about Pete and his business, GameChangersRadioShow.com.
Attention Game Changers. If you dream of becoming a published author and getting a book done is one of this year's top goals, then you can make this dream a reality in as little as 90 days. Book authors are experts. See your book on Amazon. Set your business apart and get more customers and opportunities than ever before. Join this elite club by calling 708-586-9065 for free information on how to get your book done. Call 708-586-9065 or visit mybookdone.com. That's mybookdone.com.
Hey, it's Mark Imperial from the Game Changers Radio Show. If you're a business owner wanting to lower your costs to get new customers or clients and increase the average value from each of them, then get your hands on my special report titled Catch 'em and Keep 'em: How to Get More Lifetime Customers and Clients Who Will Buy More and Refer. Simply call my 24-hour recorded hotline, toll-free, 888-985-9696. That's 888-985-9696. Or email me, mark@markimperial.com.
AM 560. Hey, we're back at Game Changers, business owners and self-employed professionals. Once again, here's Mark Imperial and Bob Rigneris.
Hey, welcome back, Game Changers. It's time for that Playmaker segment of the Game Changers Radio Show, and it's time once again for Chicago's most celebrated mergers and acquisition advisor and executive coach. Welcome, Mr. Gary Arakelian.
It's time for the Playmaker Spotlight with Gary Arakelian.
Hello and welcome back, listeners. This is Gary Arakelian, your host for the Playmaker Spotlight. We are here in the studio today with Michael Zaccaro, the president, founder, and chief executive officer of Pharma Logistics, a pharmaceutical reverse distributor headquartered in Libertyville. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Gary. Good to be here.
So a little bit of background on Pharma Logistics. You founded the company in '96 and have grown it kind of from the ground up to becoming one of the nation's largest pharmaceutical reverse distributors, serving thousands of pharmacies across the globe, all classes of trade, independent retail, hospital health systems, and so on, and the Department of Defense. That sounds like a great business, Michael.
You know, Gary, it's been a lot of fun. Since 1996, we've been servicing the needs of the trade classes that you've mentioned. What we recognized back then is these facilities had a challenge in managing their expired pharmaceuticals, needed a better way to get those back to the manufacturers so that they could recover credit. And we stepped in to fill that niche. When I say from the ground up, literally the business did start in my basement.
That's awesome.
And we've moved from there into our current headquarters in Libertyville.
So the business model is reverse logistics. Explain reverse logistics real quick.
That's a good question. And whenever I explain what we do, the first question is the first response is typically I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
If you think of reverse logistics as a consumer returning an item that they didn't want to buy to a retail store, it's really the same in pharmaceutical. Mm-hmm. So a manufacturer is going to sell product to a pharmacy. It's going to have an expiration date. If that pharmacy can't dispense it, the manufacturer will issue a refund to them for the portion that they did not use.
Okay.
Challenge for those pharmacies, there's DEA regulations, there's EPA regulations, and 1,500 different manufacturer return goods policies. It's an unbelievably burdensome challenge for them, and so they outsource it to companies like us.
Well, we can imagine the complexity of that, but the sheer size of that, we're talking about expired drugs. You walk in any Walgreens, CVS, or Rite Aid, Eckerd drug around the country, and that's what we're talking about, right?
You bet.
I mean, literally just bringing that back, plus the pharmacies at the hospitals. And you also do business with the government, too, the Department of Defense.
That's correct. Been a good relationship for us, really, for the better part of about 15 years. We're servicing some of the largest medical facilities across the country. Locally, the Great Lakes Naval Hospital has been a customer for literally 16 years. The VA health system, it's a good customer, good relationship for us.
Well, so growing this from the ground up, literally starting in your basement, Michael, which I love stories like that. 2 guys and a dog in a basement now. Talk about some of the challenges early on of creating it as a company and building it up to be an entity that it is today in Pharma Logistics, one of the nation's leading providers.
So good question, Gary. And I wish I could say that back then I was a visionary and I knew exactly where this was going and I had the grand plan.
No, this is true confessions here.
What it really was survival mode at the beginning. Yeah. I do believe that businesses, when they first start, they don't succeed for any other reason than the sheer will of the person who's doing it. It has every reason to fail. You simply don't allow it to fail.
Right.
So I ended up starting it, got a lot of help early on. My wife was a school teacher. And so, the benefit there is I had one part-time person working with me over the summers and certainly over breaks. But you go out there and you make it happen. The biggest challenge, I would say, which turned out to be the biggest benefit, was I had to be everything. Mm-hmm. I had to be the salesperson. I had to be the accountant. I had to be the processor. And while all of those things were a struggle on my time and a challenge for me because I had not been exposed to them in previous roles, at the end of the day in my current role, it now allows me to lead the organization in a way that I don't think I could have had I not grown up in the business literally. So it was a challenge early. It's been actually a blessing at the end of the day.
And so you cut your teeth on it, and now when people say, I can't do that, Mike, you say, try it this way.
You bet. Yeah. Because I would tell you the other benefit is that having multiple departments now, so we have service representatives throughout the United States that are out servicing clients, and then we have a tremendous group of processors back in the warehouse and reconciliation people back at the office. All of those service providers are integral to our client being happy with the service that we're providing. There's not a lot of visibility, though, amongst those departments as to what the other side does. Mm-hmm. I'm able, in my role, to connect the dots for the leaders of each one of those departments to help them understand what that service representative is going through while they're out in the field, or why the reconciliation department is perhaps struggling to get that credit to balance, and that helps.
So there has to be some complexity to this when we talk about the volume of what's going on. You've got feet and trucks out in the street, literally going to individual sites to be able to reconcile and collect goods to be able to return, and you've got to process through that. It's like a clearinghouse.
You bet. So the way the process works is our clients are either able to put it in a box and send it back to us, mm-hmm. or we send a service representative into that pharmacy. We're inventorying their controlled substances. We're inventorying their legend over-the-counter products, shipping that product back to the warehouse. That product comes back in. There's thousands of line items, again, from hundreds of different manufacturers. It's a very labor-intensive process, and there is a lot of detail associated with it. And that's the one thing I think that people that come to work with us realize pretty quickly. What seems like a fairly straightforward process of moving a product from one end to the next is actually pretty complicated.
Yeah. So as you've been building the organization and building around that complexity, what's one or two of the obstacles that you've encountered along the way that have really challenged the organization?
Well, I think there's been a lot. Obviously, when you start with just an idea, really, and not a lot of people helping you with it, you've really got to figure out a way to do all of those things. I think one of the biggest challenges is making sure that you're able to continue the service level that you provided when it was just you to a client who you're now asking a farmer to handle for you. Mm-hmm. That's a big challenge. These
when you say farmer, you're talking about P-H-A-R-M-E-R.
P-H-A-R-M-E-R, that's correct. The people that work at Pharma Logistics we refer to as farmers.
Got it.
And they make it happen for us every day. But the remote farmers, they're out there every day. They don't work directly under a manager, and so making sure that they have the support and the resources that they need to take care of our clients. They are the face of the organization.
Michael, what are one or two of the key moments in the growth of the company that you can look back on and say this really was a milestone, game-changing moment where the business completely changed for you individually or for the company as a whole?
That's a great question, and I remember it very clearly. Now, my wife will remember this slightly differently, but there was a point where the company was about 3 years old. I would say that I had grown it into a good job at that point. It was not yet a business, and my wife was pregnant with our second. She was about 6 months through her pregnancy, sitting on the couch, and told me that, Mike, I'm not going back to work when this baby's born. And it was the aha moment, literally. I knew at that point that I needed to build a business, that the family was going to be dependent on me. And the business literally doubled over the next 12 months.
That's awesome.
I do believe the hungry horse runs faster, Gary.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a Rocky II moment right now where they're in the hospital room and Adrian turns to him and says, I want you to do one thing for me, win. And Mickey goes, what are we waiting for? And they all run to the gym.
That's it.
That sounds like a Rocky moment.
That's it. It was absolutely a critical moment personally.
That's really neat. As you look forward for Pharma Logistics, what are some of the exciting things that are going on for it?
So really excited. One of the things that I've learned in my role is to constantly be looking for ways to change what we're doing, to provide additional value to clients. And while we started as a reverse distributor, and that continues to be the core of our business, we're really excited about some of the things that we're adding to that mix. So we're now providing inventory services for pharmacies, actually physically counting the product. We are also taking care of the pharmaceutical waste. A big piece of what is going to be coming down the road is the EPA regulations in regards to disposing of those products, and we're helping clients with that. Really excited about another offering with MatchRx, which is going to allow us to allow retail pharmacy customers to recover even more credit for some of their unused inventory. So really looking forward to some of those new things.
Sounds like nice expansion.
You bet.
Quick advice for entrepreneurs wanting to do what you've done?
So the first piece of advice, if you're a startup, is figure out if you want a good job or if you want to run a business.
Nice.
I think a lot of people get into it and they think that it's one thing. They're two separate things. Just because you have a skill in what you're doing doesn't mean that you're prepared to run a business. You can do it. Just make sure that you're set out to run a business. I would say the other thing is focus on your people. Make sure that you are working directly with the people. They will make or break you, literally. I've been very fortunate to bring on a lot of good talent and very fortunate to work with a lot of great people.
That's great. And Michael, I understand you're willing to offer a special deal for our listeners of the program of a one-time flat rate for expired pharmaceuticals. If we've got pharmacists out there or folks that are in the business, representing a 25% discount for anyone interested in using the promo code 560AM.
You got it.
And when they click on Contact Us on your website, how would they contact you? What's your website?
So the easiest way to reach us is at our website, www.pharmalogistics.com, P-H-A-R-M-A, logistics.com, or our toll-free number, 888-729-7427.
I'm Gary Arkellian, host of Playmaker Spotlight. Thank you.
Gary, thank you.
Attention game changers. If you dream of becoming a published author and getting a book done is one of this year's top goals, then you can make this dream a reality in as little as 90 days. Book authors are experts. See your book on Amazon. Set your business apart and get more customers and opportunities than ever before. Join this elite club by calling 708-586-9065 for free information on how to get your book done. Call 708-586-9065 or visit mybookdone.com. That's mybookdone.com.
Hey, it's Mark Imperial from the Game Changers Radio Show. If you're a business owner wanting to lower your costs to get new customers or clients and increase the average value from each of them, then get your hands on my special report titled Catch 'em and Keep 'em: How to Get More Lifetime Customers and Clients Who Will Buy More and Refer. Simply call my 24-hour recorded hotline, toll-free, 888-985-9696. That's 888-985-9696. Or email me, mark@markimperial.com.
AM 560. Hey, we're back at Game Changers, business owners and self-employed professionals. Once again, here's Mark Imperial and Bob Regnerus.
Welcome back, Game Changers. It's Mark Imperial.
And it's Bob Regnerus. Hey, Mark, we got to give a shout out to our title sponsor, T-Mobile.
Absolutely.
Special offer for all our guests. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yes, make sure you get your free wireless analysis. And what that means is Monty figures out how much money you can save just by trying out T-Mobile. And they're also going to reward you with a $200 credit just for trying them out. And you know what? That's the same as cash.
Per line. Per line. $200 per line.
And so just call Monty at 773-245-6169. That's 773-245-6169. 6169.
And we definitely want to see you out at College of DuPage.
That's February 27th.
February 27th. We're going to get you in and out. Breakfast meeting. We'll get you in and out. We've got some great topics on how to increase your personal brand and talk about ways for you to be visible and to get more clients coming in the door.
Yep, talking about catch them and keep them, how to attract new prospects that are right for you, that become raving fans and will multiply, will refer.
And speaking of raving fans, the next guest we have, Mark, has just some incredible testimonials. And if you actually look at some of the videos of this gentleman speaking, you can understand why. We have Matt Mayberry in the studio. He's a Fit Life coach, fitness health expert, professional speaker, author, and high-performance business coach. Real motivator, Matt inspires others towards positive change and reaching their fullest potential while living the life of their dreams. Matt, welcome to Game Changers.
How's everybody doing today?
We are doing great.
Good, welcome.
Good to have you in.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So, like I said, I've watched a couple of your videos online. You know, you're kind of a soft-spoken guy here in the studio, but you really you have this dynamic connection with your audience. It's really, like, where does that come from?
Well, I mean, really, it's when you're passionate about what you're doing and, you know, what I like to call when you're living your purpose, it comes natural. There's no artificial facts about it. You know, I really love what I do, so it's very easy for me to portray that in a passionate, you know, kind of powerful way. Now, what you're doing now is not what you thought you were going to be doing a couple years ago. So tell us a little bit about your story. No, not at all. I actually, you know, thought I was going to be in the NFL for about 5-6 years. I ended up suffering an ankle injury playing the San Diego Chargers when I was with the Chicago Bears, and that kind of really had time for me to reevaluate my life. And I've always been very passionate about helping others, so that's kind of what transformed into what's happening now. So now you're an athlete, obviously, just looking at you, but I mean, that's what you prepared throughout high school. You were heavily recruited, weren't you? Yeah. You know, we had that really comes up with the book we have coming out with the Guide to College Athletic Scholarships, and that all goes to, you know, I wasn't, you know, born a special way or anything, what a lot of people like to say, but, you know, I really found out a way to do it, and I worked hard at it, and the scholarships ended up coming. Now, you just didn't have a couple scholarship offers. You had multiple. How many was it? I think 18 total is what I ended up having. Now, that's unheard of, right? Not unheard of, but, I mean, from my high school and at that time, you know, it's definitely an accomplishment. Okay. So did you do anything special to attract that number of people? Was it just athletic ability, or did you do a little work on the side too? I did a lot of work on the side. Just like anything in business, whether you're trying to get new clients, you know, as an athlete, you always want to perfect your craft and make sure you get the coach's attention and really make sure, you know, you're doing something to get your foot in the door to those universities. Okay. And where'd you go to high school? Hinsdale South High School. Okay. So you're Chicago born and raised? Right. Chicago born and raised. So what was it like actually getting to play for the Bears, even for a short time? It was a dream come true. I mean, you know, just putting on the uniform and being able to play when I played, it really was something that I cherish and something one day I'll be able to tell my children. Now, it sounds like when you played in high school, you naturally became the leader of your team. Is that something you always aspired to do, or does it just kind of happen? Yeah, when I was growing up, you know, my father basically said, you know, we can follow or we can be a leader, you know, and being a follower never really, you know, really had a high interest in me. So I always wanted to be a leader and always make sure I was doing things the right way. Okay, and then you took that, you eventually, out of all those offers, you chose Indiana University? Yeah, I chose Indiana University. I get that all the time, you know, why'd I choose Indiana? But Terry Hepner, you know, the late Terry Hepner, who actually, you know, passed away a couple years ago, that is the main reason why I picked Indiana University. And so what was it that he said or did that made you want to go to Indiana versus some of these other schools? He was just very, you know, passionate about me coming there, and really it was more of building that connection between me and him as people rather than coach and player atmosphere. Okay. So you kind of recognized maybe some of those inner gifts, not just your athletic ability, and that created that connection. Well, that's very cool. And you were kind of decorated in college, right? You got a lot of awards, and again, you were kind of one of the leaders of that club for 4 years, weren't you? Right. It all transpired back going into college, you know, leading and making sure I was doing things the right way. You know, I think that the leaders, they have to be working hard and really, you know, showing others how to do it correctly. Cool. So you said you wrote a book. Tell us, what's the title of the book and what's it all about? Well, the title of the book is A Guide to College Athletic Scholarships, and it's basically my personal journey, giving parents and student athletes really a step-by-step process of what I did and what I think they could do to really get the coach's attention and really get that scholarship that they're looking for. Give us one little tidbit here in about 30 seconds. What's one thing a high school athlete could be doing to attract the attention of a college? perfecting their craft as well as making sure that they're getting all their resources. I think a lot of people think that, it's just going to happen. You're going to wake up one morning, but you have to study about it, and you got to, what colleges you want to go to, and really, most importantly, you got to perfect your craft because you got to become a good football player, a good volleyball player, whatever the sport is.
Ultimately, excellence in your chosen sport has got to be front and center. So, hey, we're going to talk with Matt more after the break. We're going to hear about what he's doing, speaking and some other things. So join us after the break, but also on the web, Mark, GameChangersRadioshow.com.
And make sure you download our mobile app on any of your devices. Take the show on the road with you. And also, take advantage of that $200 credit from T-Mobile and the wireless analysis today, calling 773-245-6169.
Attention game changers. If you dream of becoming a published author and getting a book done is one of this year's top goals, then you can make this dream a reality in as little as 90 days. Book authors are experts. See your book on Amazon. Set your business apart and get more customers and opportunities than ever before. Join this elite club by calling 708-586-9065 for free information on how to get your book done. Call 708-586-9065 or visit mybookdone.com. That's mybookdone.com.
Hey, it's Mark Imperial from the Game Changers Radio Show. If you're a business owner wanting to lower your costs to get new customers or clients and increase the average value from each of them, then get your hands on my special report titled Catch 'em and Keep 'em: How to Get More Lifetime Customers and Clients Who Will Buy More and Refer. Simply call my 24-hour recorded hotline, toll-free, 888-985-9696. That's 888-985-9696. Or email me, mark@markimperial.com.
AM 560. Hey, we're back at Game Changers, business owners and self-employed professionals. Once again, here's Mark Imperial and Bob Rigneris.
Welcome back, Game Changers. It's Mark Imperial.
And it's Bob Rigneris, and we're speaking with Matt Mayberry. New website, MattMayberryOnline.com, correct?
MattMayberryOnline.com. That's the new website, and it's, tons of resources in there as far as fitness, health, and goals, and really, a lot of tips in there to help people achieve their goals and really live their best life.
Well, let's talk about this. So you're not just an author helping college athletes get into school. That's one of the things, or high school athletes get into a college. That's just one thing you're doing. You actually go around and speak at a number of high schools. Talk a little bit about that. How do you enjoy that, and how's that working for you?
Well, I love it. I think, as I stay in the website, what really started the speaking is being able to stand on stage and really help people live a more profound and successful life. And, really Matt Mayberry as a brand and MattMayberryOnline.com, it's really bringing the fitness and health together as one, along with the personal development and growth, all together for really a wellness of overall life.
So how do you capture the attention of a high school kid? I mean, they got enough going on. They're fighting with their girlfriend, and they're failing this class, and the coach is riding on their butt. How do you connect with them? You remember walking into assemblies as a high school kid, like, they got somebody else that's going to tell us like this stuff. How do you connect with them?
Well, I think I connect with them because I've been there and done that. I think I can correlate and understand with what they're going to. So I can really portray that, hey guys, I know what you're going through, and let's help do this the right thing the right way.
Cool. So you get a lot into fitness and health. Talk about some of the stuff that you're working on to help not just high school athletes, but anybody who aspires to live a better life.
Well, high school athletes, college athletes, professional athletes, and really a lot of CEOs and business leaders, a lot of entrepreneurs, people who have long hours, people who, maybe at first don't believe that they can expand their business, increase their revenue income from really eating healthier and getting a more profound look on fitness and really how their body feels. And, without even touching the business side of things. So, really, it's really portraying to any age group, any profession. It's really just teaching people, hey, this health and fitness can really take your life to the next level.
And have a positive impact on your life? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
So do you work with individuals in that?
Individuals and corporations. Whether we go into a corporation and kind of do like a 3-4 day boot camp, which really a mind development and body development, and then we also do have work with individuals, which is really more of an intense regimen and really taking them step by step to help them get that on the right track.
And so they're coming to you because they've recognized some issues in their own life, and they need somebody to kind of kick their behind and get them back in gear. Is that the type of client you're looking for?
More times than not, yes. But then, there's also the very successful people who, who realize and see people who've done it before, who've gotten even more successful and who've grown more in their life from really taking charge of their health and fitness.
So tell us a little bit. You're kind of growing your personal brand. I mean, you are front and center. This is Matt Mayberry online. You're putting yourself out there. Mark and I have worked with a lot of people who put their personal brand out there. How are you finding that? Are you comfortable with that and putting that forward? Is that? Yeah,
I'm very comfortable with it. I think to put a personal brand out there, you have to walk the walk and you have to talk the talk. And really, with what that comes down to is making sure you do the right thing at all times. And it does take obviously more work as far as, you got to hire the right people and make sure you're doing the right things. But you also have to really know about marketing, because we're not in a corporation. So you do have to take the time and to study how marketing really works and what you can do to profound other people.
From athlete to speaker, how did you make that switch? Did you always know that was going to be what's next for you?
I didn't. It all started when I got hurt playing San Diego, and Stedman Graham was in attendance, who was a renowned business leader and success coach and New York Times bestselling author. And that's kind of what prompted me going into speaking and really started that whole adventure.
So you had mentors as well.
Yeah. That's really, I owe all the credit in the world to my mentors, Stedman Graham, Les Brown, Tony Robbins. I mean, people who've been there and done that and really have been able to, help people live the life of their dreams. So Stedman was at the game that you got injured? Is that how you met, or you guys were friends before that? I spoke at Naperville North High School, and that's kind of what started. He was in attendance at that. Okay. So that's what really started the whole thing. And then he also has a charity foundation, Athletes Against Drugs, and I do a lot of work with that as well. Okay. So, I mean, part of business really is those connections. I mean, connections are critical. It really gives you some shortcuts and helps you, move some of those landmines, get around those landmines. Being somewhere and being somebody, it just leads to opportunities. Definitely. And so, I mean, when your dream is to play in the NFL, I mean, how long were you actually a member of the NFL? Like 6 months. 6 months. Right. How did you handle the fact that all of a sudden you were told that you weren't going to be able to play professional football anymore? Honestly. Well, I mean, the thing about it is no one told me not to play anymore. No one told me I couldn't play. I made that decision. You have to be happy with what you do in life. You can't do it for a paycheck, or you can't do it for any other reason. You have to be truly happy with what you do. Okay. And that's when the success will follow. And that's, I'm really happy with what I do now. So was it you kind of being in tune with your body going, hey, wait a minute, I can't play? Or was it, I don't want to subject myself to this anymore? What was the decision? I just really wasn't having fun anymore. I mean, waking up at 6 a.m, going to practice wasn't as appealing to me. I really, really love helping people. So that's what really prompted the decision for what was to come. Okay. And did you see that while you were playing in college? Like, did you have a vision of this? This is what I was going to be doing? I didn't see it. I mean, I always knew that I was going to be helping people somehow, some way, and really making a difference in the world. But as far as so soon, not at all. Okay. So really, when that injury happened, maybe that inner voice kind of said, all right, Matt, we're moving on to something else. Right. That's exactly what happened. That's so cool. So, hey, MattMayberryOnline.com. You can get all information about his book, speaking engagements, fitness, and certain products will be up there very soon. Yep. So a lot of info you can get from Matt. So thanks for being on Game Changers, Thanks, Matt. For having me, guys. So, hey, join us on the website. More info about Matt, GameChangersRadioShow.com. And make sure you check out, we're going to be at an event coming up. Yeah, we'll talk about that after the break. Get the details on the site, GameChangersRadioShow.com.
Attention Game Changers. If you dream of becoming a published author and getting a book done is one of this year's top goals, then you can make this dream a reality in as little as 90 days. Book authors are experts. See your book on Amazon. Set your business apart and get more customers and opportunities than ever before. Join this elite club by calling 708-586-9065 for free information on how to get your book done. Call 708-586-9065 or visit mybookdone.com. That's mybookdone.com.
Hey, it's Mark Imperial from the Game Changers Radio Show. If you're a business owner wanting to lower your cost to get new customers or clients and increase the average value from each of them, then get your hands on my special report titled Catch 'em and Keep 'em: How to Get More Lifetime Customers and Clients Who Will Buy More and Refer. Simply call my 24-hour recorded hotline, toll-free, 888-985-9696. That's 888-985-9696. Or email me, mark@markimperial.com.
AM 560. Hey, we're back at Game Changers. business owners, and self-employed professionals. Once again, here's Mark Imperial and Bob Rigneris.
Welcome back, Game Changers. It's Mark Imperial.
Hey, it's Bob Rigneris. We're in the home stretch. People helping people.
That's right. And hey, as the late great Mr. Zig Ziglar said, you get everything in the world that you want by helping others get what they want.
That was pretty interesting. Pete and Matt are still in the studio. Pete had a career change, and so did Matt. Transferring from one career to the next with the intent of helping people. I think it's a noble task, but really, isn't it? It's what business is all about, isn't it, Pete?
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's helping people realize their dreams and helping them make their lives better. It's fulfilling. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity.
It's great to be a coach. It's great to be a mentor and to help people through. And for those who are kind of looking for, they're kind of searching around. We come across a lot of people, Mark, that are kind of searching. Right? They don't quite know what they want. They know they've got this dream and they want to be successful in business, but they don't know where to navigate. We got some pretty good mentors here in the studio that could maybe steer them in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about, what's next. That's that big question, and you definitely should seek out your resources. But speaking about that, we were talking about funding, a big question.
Resources.
Speaking of resources, people were talking, people have to know, well, where do we get the funding for some of these businesses? Is there money out there? If somebody that's recently laid off or doesn't necessarily have all that money piled up to go into business, what would you say, Pete?
There's all types of resources that can help people leverage their dollars. I mean, you have to have some money to go into business, but there are companies now that will help you put together a financial plan of how you're going to fund opening your first franchise.
So, I mean, is it a debt-based thing or is it an equity? What?
Well, we're seeing a lot of people now, they're leveraging, for example, their 401k.
Okay.
So they got their money in a 401k. It's not doing anything for them right now. And so there's companies now that allow them with no penalties to roll that money over into a C Corp, for lack of better terms, that will allow them to fund their business.
So there's more creative ways to get into business financially than to borrow from the bank or from relatives.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's SBA loans for certain franchises, so there is money out there.
So, Matt, I mean, you're kind of starting from scratch too, right? I mean, this is kind of a grassroots thing you're building, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I always tell people, you have to live within below your means, and you always have to realize where you want to get, but you never want to go past that, right? So there's a way for you to do that, especially as an entrepreneur starting out. You can achieve your goals and dreams, but you have to really sit down and plan.
Cool. Some grassroots, Bobby, speaking for like 13,000 people. What are some of these keynotes that you're giving? That's quite a grassroots there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it all varies. I mean, it all from motivation, really dig deeper. Since we're talking about business, I'm a firm believer in the more you grow, the more your business grows. Without even touching your business, you can generate more revenue and become more successful in business by really developing your skill set. How much are you reading? What are you learning? Turn your car into a mobile home, as you talked about Zig Ziglar. So really just always expanding, and, it can do tremendous things for business-wise.
Well, speaking of learning, Mark, we're going to be out at College of DuPage with the Illinois SBDC. We're doing a Game Changers remote show. It's going to be an hour and a half. We're going to be talking about increasing your personal brand. We're going to talk about ways to leverage media, to use media and be media to get your personal brand out there.
We're sharing, ways to capture more customers and clients and how to get them to stay, pay, and refer.
Exactly. And you're going to show some really concrete examples of ways to get attention in a crowded marketplace using some really cool lead generation advertising
Direct
ideas.
response marketing at its finest.
And standing out. This is what we're talking about. These are people, the people we have on the show every week stand out. They're doing things on their website. They're doing things on social networks that are making themselves stand out to Mark and I to even have them on the show. And we want to talk about some of those things. And we have a special report that talks about some of the ways these game changers we've interviewed have found success. So if you sign up at the website, it's a free download. It's a PDF. It talks about the secrets of the game changers that we've actually interviewed over the past year and a half.
That's right. I loved it. I'd read it over and over again.
It's cool. So, hey, join us next week, but also join us on the web, GameChangersRadioShow.com.
And download our mobile app on any of your devices. Search Game Changers Radio Show.
And we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Attention game changers. If you dream of becoming a published author and getting a book done is one of this year's top goals, then you can make this dream a reality in as little as 90 days. Book authors are experts. See your book on Amazon. Set your business apart and get more customers and opportunities than ever before. Join this elite club by calling 708-586-9065 for free information on how to get your book done. Call 708-586-9065 or visit mybookdone.com. That's mybookdone.com.
Hey, it's Mark Imperial from the Game Changers radio show. If you're a business owner wanting to lower your costs to get new customers or clients and increase the average value from each of them, then get your hands on my special report titled Catch 'em and Keep 'em: How to Get More Lifetime Customers and Clients Who Will Buy More and Refer. Simply call my 24-hour recorded hotline, toll-free, 888-985-9696. That's 888-985-9696, or email